Odyssey racing the part of me. Sim racing my daughter V. Start to finish, give all to me. Odyssey racing the Odyssey racing the part of me. Sim racing my daughter V. Start to finish, give all to me. Odyssey ORL, 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 Odyssey ORL. VSR all day, VSR my way. Real ones only get it, say less, we straight. 59, never back down. If you didn't know, just ask around. Pull the draft on the front stretch. Turn one, they tap it down. Force the gap with all contact. Feel the adrenaline off that. Under pressure from front to back. Another cup, warning, keep it on track. You wanted more, I'm calling cap. Elvis up, come get it back. 50 drivers in the server. Hope you're ready for combat. Odyssey racing the Odyssey racing the part of me. Sim racing my daughter V. Start to finish, give all to me. Odyssey racing the Odyssey racing the part of me. Sim racing my daughter V. Start to finish, give all to me. Odyssey ORL. Odyssey.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you so much for joining us for round 6 of GT Europe, presented by Odyssey Racing League. My name is Christian Julian. I also go by Koju here, and we are in the middle of qualifying. It's actually towards the end. We unfortunately had to connect late due to some technical difficulties, but we are on board with the number 27 Ferrari, driven by Emre Sönmez, who is right now in the lead of the championship. However, P2 overall for the number 27 Ferrari, with the Baller Squad Racing livery there. Actually, I sit corrected. The number 27 is now in the lead, taking the spot over the number 297, driven by Efe Yantiri, also of Baller Squad Racing fame. Both drivers teammates, but also rivals on the track, as both drivers are within 7 points, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, it is 7 points in the difference between the pro leader. 6 points. It's actually 6 points. So in the lead after qualifying the pros, the number 27 provisional pole for Emre Sönmez. Lucas Kupka sliding in right at the end, the number 969 of McLaren in P2 for Prague Sim Group. And P3, it is Efe Yantiri, the number 297 Ferrari of Baller Squad Racing fame. So it's only a 6-point difference between Emre and Efe. So that is going to be a very interesting championship that will be concluded here at the end of our 60-minute race for tonight. Now we do have the GT4s on board. Moving over to Leila Martinez and the number 924 Kraft dinner, or mac and cheese dinner, wherever you are. There's a different way to call it. But interesting fact, Leila Martinez, the GT4 winner, championship winner of GT Americas. So it looks like Leila has been doing a double shift of GT Americas and GT Europe, throwing up some kitty litter on the side of the road, I guess. A little bit of technical difficulties for Leila Martinez, so we're going to be moving over to some other cars here. 29 cars are going to be racing for you tonight. I was making sure I have the correct number. It is 16 GT4s on track, so that is an amazing number of GT4s in my opinion. And speaking of GT4s, we were speaking about Leila Martinez earlier. Leila Martinez in P2 overall for the GT4 standings here at GT Europe. However, your leader for the GT4 standings is the number 28 Mercedes-AMG GT4, driven by Raffaele Riacato. I believe that's how it's pronounced. I do apologize, Raffaele. Let me know if you watch this back. Yell at me in the Discord at how terribly I pronounce that. I don't know what it is. I have terrible Italian pronunciation. I can understand it and I can read it fine. I just can't pronounce it. It's so bad. I can speak Spanish just fine, but my Italian is terrible, so I do apologize. There is a smorgasbord of GT4s here on the track. There is such a big difference in GT4s compared to GT Americas and GT Europe, and there is just a plethora. There's so many different types. Here we have a couple Alpines. We do have our AMG GT4, which is on the screen now. We have an Aston Martin GT4. Somebody's driving the Chevy. A couple Janettas. And by couple, I mean, yeah, actually a couple. We have 3 Porsches. We even have a KTM. There's a KTM. Hold on. I need to see the KTM. That's not the KTM. This is Casey Morgan, though, and the number 413. It's a Chevy Camaro. A little bit heavy on the front end, but the V8 behind or under that hood has amazing power on the straights. That's actually a great sound. Wow. I don't know if y'all can hear it. It's not bad. Well, okay, I might actually end up driving that car for a little bit. Looking over to provisional pole bonus Charles in the back row GT Racing. Janetta is the number 26 Janetta to be exact. Provisional pole for them so far. 1 minute 15 seconds left in qualifying. You have Simon in the number 147 McLaren. Is he the only McLaren GT4 on track? I think he is. But the Drift Rebels Racing McLaren is in P2. And P3 provisionally the number 159 Porsche GT4. I believe this is the Cayman GT4. Driven by Yuri Howling. Yuri does have a purple Delta. Would this put Yuri in the lead? Crossing the finish line. Just not enough, as Leila Martinez is actually able to sneak on by with a 204.317, which puts the number 924 Aston Martin GT4 in the lead. The Craft Racing Aston Martin probably feeling pretty cheesy right now as they're able to sneak on by, and they end their qualifying run there as well. Raffaele able to put a commanding stamp on provisional pole, 204.020. So almost breaking into the 203s there in that Mercedes AMG GT4. Matty Garcia, we were just talking about the Chevy, able to make that engine roar into P2. The number 455 Chevy Camaro, now provisional pole 2 for the GT4s. We do have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in overtime for qualifying. So we have a couple of Janettas on our screen here. It does look like Raffaele's time is the one to beat for the GT4s. We do have some drivers up on their deltas, and that will be changing the standings, but how drastic and how much of a difference will the standings be? Maddie potentially being able to pass Raffaele here at the last couple of turns. They do have a purple delta, which means that they are going to be able to potentially have the fastest lap. Throwing left-hand tires into the dirt. Does that keep the valid time? It does. And Maddie Garcia able to sneak to the top step of the podium. The number 455 Chevy Camaro now gracefully at the top. Your provisional leader for the GT4 is Maddie Garcia. Raffaele Ricciardo right behind him in P2 for the GT4s. And Simon Kurtashov P3 for the GT4s. For your GT3s pros, the number 27 driven by Emery will be your starting grid leader. Lucas Kupka in P2 and Eferi Yantidi in P3. We're going to go do a quick intermission. Please do not go anywhere. We'll be right back with the starting grid walk for GT Europe.
Devil in a red dress, call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand on.
And here we are, racing fans, for the final time for GT Europe, our starting grid walk. This is round 6 of season 19, the final round. On pole position, the number 27 Ferrari, Emre Sürmez for Bala Squad Racing. Lined up in P2, the number 969 McLaren, Lucas Kupka. In P3, the number 297 Ferrari, Bala Squad Racing teammate off the sim, but in the sim, bitter rivals, Effi Yantidi for Bala Squad Racing. In P4, outside of the podium, but still within reach, the number 276 Lexus, Marcus Schoberg. P5, Hamza Benkador, the number 88 Ferrari. In P6, the number 098 Audi, this is Lucas Seider. P7, in the Hello Kitty Bentley. Why didn't anyone tell me that there was a Hello Kitty Bentley in GT Europe. This is one of my as of right now, this is my favorite livery. This is Jorin's Salvicus. In P8, the number 100 Lamborghini, Victoras Pujokaitas. P9, the number 91 Lexus, driven by Maris Rizanovs. Rounding off your top 10, this is Simon Kret, number 86 McLaren. P11, Johnny Marsh for fitted UK Sim Sport. P12, Marcio Mota. And now we start with the GT4s. P13 overall, but your race leader for the GT4s, or your podium step, Manny Garcia, the number 455 Chevy Camaro. Raffaele Ricciato. I'm mispronouncing that so bad, I apologize. But the number 28 Mercedes AMG in P2 for the GT4s. P3 for the GT4s goes to Simon Kurdashov. 15 overall. P3 for the GT4s. That's the number 147 McLaren. Leila Martinez. The number 924 Craft Racing Aston Martin. GT4 here. Right behind them, it's Yuri Howling. The number 159 Porsche. Bonus Charles lined up in P18 overall. The number 26 Ginetta. Another Mercedes AMG GT4 lined up in P19. This is the number 73, driven by Andreas Marsones. Chris Tupas Skapas. The number 310 Audi. P21 overall. Anthony Victor Chappelle, the number 873 Ginetta for Double Yellow Motorsports in P22. P23 goes to Ivo Oostin, or Ostin. I believe it's pronounced Oostin. Please let me know in the chat or in the Discord if I did pronounce that wrong. But P23 for the Alpine. P24 goes to the number 92 Aston Martin GT4, Richard Mazin. P25, number 104 Alpine, Stin Vissers. Alex Perry in the number 121 KTM in P26. P27 goes to Tim Marseille, number 729 Porsche GT4. Right behind them, Casey Morgan in the number 413 Chevy. Then we do have Alnis Haris starting from the back as a GT3, as well as Jersey Duff, who is starting from the pit lane. So as we go through the final chicane, as the drivers line up side by side, a quick reminder, cold tires, cold brakes, and sometimes that does mean cold brains. However, all of us here at home are probably nice and cozied up, have a nice little drink, and we're getting ready for the green flag to drop, those red lights to turn green, and the start of the final round of GT Europe. My name is Christian Julian, and on behalf of Odyssey Racing League, the flag is green, and we have started. Embry with a pretty defensive move along the inside, but a great lunge by Lucas Kupka along the outside. Marcus Schoberg trying to put his Lexus in the middle, but almost Ferrari on Ferrari violence along the inside of the apex of turn 1, but Emery losing the first spot, and a tap by Baller Squad Racing teammates, and a big shove. Unfortunately, Emery having to try to regain control of his car, ended up bumping another one, and there's a big contact in the middle. There is actually contact being strewn about, as we do see contact flags happening. A couple of cars going left and right. We do see Ginetta being bumped along the side, as we are on board now with Joran Salvicus, the number 728. As they try to make through the GT4 traffic, as some of them have been able to finally catch up and put a monkey wrench basically in the GT3 racing, as we do see now that some of the GT4s are now spreading themselves out as they're starting to battle for position, as we also do see, unfortunately, some GT4 stragglers in the back. Moving up to the race lead, though, now the number 969 has moved up into the lead. Effie Yantidi is now P2, Marcus Schoberg in P3. Hamza Bekador, P4, and Maris Rizanov's now up into P5 from P7. So we did have somebody hemorrhage spots. I think that was your race leader, Emery. Yeah, Emery, unfortunately, number 27, now in P23. A very, very big hit happening at the beginning. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for letting us know about the race volume there. Well, let me see if we can get a replay of the incident that happened on our screen. So here, coming into the first turn, relatively clean battling happening so far. Almost 3 wide, 4 wide coming into it, but we did have some tapping there in the beginning. Trying to slide in the number 27. It's the front. Oh! So it may look like teammate on teammate violence happening there, as unfortunately, look, the 27 tried to get past their teammate in the Lexus. However, it didn't look like they were clear enough and just pit maneuvered themselves there. Coming into the Mercedes arena. Oh, that is very tough to see. However, Emery trying to make his way through the GT4 traffic, as well as that 15-second success penalty. It's going to be very interesting to see how he's going to be able to recover from this. However, it is a 60-minute race, as anything can happen within those 60 minutes. Now we're keeping an eye on the GT4s as the battle is so close here between Richard Mazan and Bonus Charles. Side by side, Bonus goes with the number, it's the Audi, it's the number 310 Audi. I was gonna say 311, but it's not 311, it's 310. As I also do see on my screen, Victoras having to defend against the number 98 Audi. Unfortunately, taking the normal racing line along the outside, the number 98 Audi was able to slip along the inside. Speaking of slip, a nice little skirt on the exit of the final turn. That's turn 15 for the number 98. However, able to use all of the power of that V10 to stay ahead, even though the Victoras is also driving a V10 in the Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2 right behind him, as both the Audi and the Lamborghini are cousin cars. Just a better exit looked like for the number 98. Couple of door bangings and elbow shoves here and there, but doesn't look like there's anything too egregious that has happened. There is a drive-through actually handed out to the number 276 Lexus. So right here on our screen, this Lexus is unfortunately going to have to cash in that drive-through ticket eventually, as that is a ticket that you do not want to be holding on to at the end of this race, as any penalty that is not served at the end of the race, that is not a time penalty, is in fact an even worse penalty at the end, as we do see the number 276 electing to cash in that drive-through ticket about right on time. Johnny Marsh and the number 69 Ford Mustang right on the back bumper of the number 239 Ferrari. The Ferrari takes a defensive move along the inside. Johnny Marsh elects to stay on the racing line, gets a little bit deeper into the braking zone, is able to make a move along the inside. Not really, as the Ferrari is able to stick to the better part of the track with way better grip. However, the V8 of the Ford Mustang giving that Ferrari a run for its money, as Johnny Marsh is now along the inside for turn 3, makes it stick, and the number 69 fitted UK Sim Sport Ford Mustang now into P8. That is such an interesting move, as usually along that outside line there into turn 1, there's way less grip. However, the torque of the Ford Mustang in slow speeds, able to use being able to use all of it is just a sight to behold. In the chat, show us Lucas Kupka. Sure, why not? Lucas Kupka, the number 969 McLaren, in the lead right now. It's about a 3-second gap as well between Lucas and the second place driver, who is Effie Yantidi. It's only 8 minutes into the race so far, but Lucas is also holding on to the Purple Crown fastest time on the track, 153.790 for Lucas. It's also pretty quick as well, but still have time left on the track to find, because I think I've seen 52s, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere, which is crazy fast. But speaking of crazy fast, it looks like Lucas in the number 98 Audi able to catch up to Maris in the number 91 Lexus there on our screen there. As they whiz by to the right, you also see the Lamborghini in the background. Victoras waiting in the wings, waiting in the back, hoping that these two cars start battling this, and he's able to take advantage of any situation that arises from there. Speaking of situations that are arising, Yuri potentially along the inside of the double yellows. Janetta, as they go side by side into the final chicane. Who wants to know more? It does look like along the inside, the Janetta's able to hold on to the line and stay ahead, as now the number 159 is going to have to think about when to start battling, as we do see also the GT4 behind them. The Aston Martin GT4 right behind him is also trying to throw their hat into this party. A potential better exit the 729 gets as he tries to get his front wheels alongside the back wheels of the KTM that we have here on our screen. However, Alex Perry with the defensive line along the inside, way better for these two turns, as we saw that sequence of events play out there on our screen. Number 121 still in the lead, or still in front of the number 729. The battle for the lead of the GT4s is heating up. Oh, that's not the timetable. There's the timetable. So the number 28 AMG, breathing down the neck of Leila Martinez, the number 924 Aston Martin GT4, who was able to get into the lead. But we do have a fight here for the podium. All three of these drivers on the podium steps, however, trying to fight for the first position. Rafael in the middle of Leila Martinez and Matty Garcia. We get a nice little aerial shot of turns 2 in Mercedes Arena. Will a lunge be made along the inside? It doesn't look so. It doesn't look like it, as the cars are respecting each other's lines so far, and it just looks like they're trying to get into a groove. Do the Schumacher S's. A potential better exit for the AMG. Are they going to make a move into the braking zone? It looks like it, as our cameraman switched it at the wrong time, but Raffaelli trying to make a move along the inside, but not able to make it stick, as we also see Matty Garcia able to take advantage of the mispositioned Mercedes AMG and able to slip by. So now the Mercedes loses 2 spots instead of 1 from that costly mistake, as Leila Martinez is still in the lead for the GT4s. Matty Garcia moving up into P2, Raffaelli moving down to P3. However, this battle I think is going to be going on for the next 47 minutes or so, as this is going to be non-stop action from the GT4s. Speaking of non-stop action, Victoras in the number 100 Lamborghini here on our screen has stayed on the back bumper of Maris so far. Within a second of that car is what I like to call the striking zone. If you're within a second of the car behind you, any little mistake the car makes, you're able to, and if you're able to capitalize on that, you're going to be coming out ahead. I do have a contact flag here on my screen between the battle here of Richard Mazan and Bonus Charles. So potential contact, bringing those 2 cars together there in the Mercedes arena. However, now coming into turn 5, looks like the number 92 Aston Martin GT4 is going to stay ahead of the Ginetta. A drag race to turn 1. Along the inside is the Mercedes AMG, which is the preferable and favorable line. Into the braking zone they go. Leila Martinez in the Kraft Dinner Aston Martin GT4 trying to make a move along the inside. Potential switchback as they go now into turn 2. Bumper to bumper they go as the 28 tries to stay ahead, and nobody makes a lunge along the inside, which is pretty respectable, as of now 28, driven by Raffaelli for DC Racing Team, is now in the lead. However, the Aston Martin staying aggressive and staying hungry along the inside should be granted room, as the number 924 potentially pushing the 28 a little bit farther out than they would have liked to into that turn. But coming into turns 5 and 6, it looks like it is relatively clean racing between all 3 of these drivers. And this is great thing to see on our screen, in my opinion. A drag race between the Lexus and the Ferrari. Marcus Schoberg, who unfortunately had to work with a drive-through penalty due to an incident earlier with one of their teammates. They are now moving up through the positions as fast as they can. P12 for the number 276 Lexus as they continue their race here for round 6 of Odyssey Racing League GT Europe. Season 19 to be exact. We've been doing this for 19 seasons. It's incredible. Speaking of that, a quick shout out to all of the drivers that are out on track right now. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And as well as you, the racing fans, everyone watching at home, whether it be live or sometime in the future, or if you're some kind of time traveler in the past. Thank you so much for tuning in. We wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for each and every one of you. With the official pit window sign on the top now open, that is letting us know that the pit window is officially open on our screen. The battle is still continuing, though. The number 92 trying to make a move along the outside of Bonus Charles. However, again, it's very, very squirrely, very slippery there along the very, very deep part, or the very back part of turn 1 there. Number 92 trying to find some grip along the inside. We can see the number 210 and the number 10 battling as well right behind the number 92. So no matter where we look, a battle is always going to be happening. Looking further up a little bit as well. The number 800 Porsche on the back bumper of the number 239 Ferrari along the inside. Braking. The 800 able to make it stick, but the number 239 able to get pretty good grip there, able to make it along the inside of the next turn there, however, giving it up as you did see the Ferrari brake lights come on as they were coming into turn 2. So it does look like the number 800 is able to slip on by, move up into P12. Looks like we have a shout out for Rafa. On our screen, though, is Johnny Marsh and the number 69 Ford Mustang for Fitted UK Sim Sport. We do have, it looks like Emre right there on the back bumper trying to make a move, a switchback left, right, left. Trying to make the number 69 think where he's going so that he can try to make a move. The number 69, though, is trying to look ahead as the number 86 is trying to defend from both of them. A little bit of GT4 traffic in the middle. However, the 69 able to get a really good exit coming out of that turn. So he's going to stay in front of Emery for a little bit. 15-second time penalty for Emery, but I do believe that is a success penalty, as the number 27 was part of an incident earlier with a teammate which made them hemorrhage positions all the way from P1 down to, I believe it was almost like P26 or something. Are there even 26 cars? There were. So it was almost in the middle of the GT4s, but now trying to make up for the position as potential contact happens, and it does, as a late braking move happens between the number 27 and the number 69 and number 86. The number so Emery in the Ferrari, what number is Emery? I keep forgetting. He's under 27. Tries to, in the braking zone, brakes a little deeper or harder. Tries to get out of the way of the number 69, however, not able to make it out of the way. And unfortunately collects the 69 as they keep on going through the braking zone. A little bit of a detour for the number 69 as he tries to get past the GT4s as, oh my goodness, it makes me feel terrible when contact happens. I'm not even racing, but when contact happens between clean racers and they're just battling it out and contact like that happens. Oh, I don't know if the microphone picked it up, but I smacked my forehead so hard there. I'm probably gonna get a huge headache. We do have a race lead change, though, however, as GT4 traffic is coming into play. We weren't able to get it on our camera just now, but it looks like... Oh, more... Was that netcode? Potential netcode as the number 873 is thrown off the track, and some weird slip angles coming out of the 969. So potential netcode for them, as the number 98 is trying to stare down the back bumper of the number 969 as they are coming through the final, or the front straight. So your new race leader, or your race leader, is the number 297 Ferrari. This is the Baller Squad Racing Ferrari, driven by Effie Yantiri. A couple of GT4s there on our screen. They are battling for position. This is P2 and P1. Excuse me, P2 and P3, as contact is being made again as the number 2, as the Ferrari is being boxed in by the GT4s. A box-in maneuver made by the GT4s, as usually the GT3s bully the GT4s, but not this time, as the GT4s decided to fight back and box in the lead Ferrari. That is hilarious. Oh, replay of the contact? Sure, we can look at that replay. Let's see if we can get something there. It was the number 27 that was involved, I believe, correct? So let's get a quick look at a replay of the number 27 and the incident involved. It was a 27 and the 69, I believe. As we see them pass the camera coming into the braking zone, it looks like a potential move being made by two cars. Moving under braking, potentially by the Ford Mustang. I don't know. I'm going to let the stewards decide that. But it looks like evasive maneuvers was made by the number 69 to avoid contact. Then the number 297 tried to do the same thing. But then again, the 69 was there. So then the 297, or not the 297, excuse me. The 27 tried to move more to the left. But unfortunately, once you're like that deep in the braking zone, I'm assuming they hit the ABS in the car. And it just... they couldn't move anywhere, so they just ended up collecting the Ford Mustang. That feels so terrible. Oh my goodness. And 969, was there an incident between 969? There was, so let's keep an eye. Let's look at the number 969 to see if there was any contact. I do see contact. The big gash on the right side of the door there for the number 969. So potentially this could be why they were pushed off the track. It could be netcode by the looks of it, as we do have some weird, interesting movement. Oh yeah, look at that slip angle. Woo! Woo! Look at that slip. Oh yeah, that is potential netcode, as the car is being touched by vehicles that aren't even in the vicinity. That is very interesting. I do hope that number 969 is able to recover, though, as they were having a great race so far. Still more racing happening on the track. The number 104 Alpine trying to catch up to the all-yellow Mercedes AMG here on our screen. This is Andreas in the number 73 AMG in front. If I'm not mistaken, I have actually seen this color in real life. I think I've seen a yellow AMG GT and a green AMG GT, and they look so nice in real life. This yellow is a very nice yellow, though. I do like it. Slipping in through traffic, Victor Ascos, the number 100 Lamborghini, with the very cool GT World Challenge livery. A little squirrely on the exit, but skirt as it goes through turn 2. Mercedes Arena, turn 3. And off into the infield section. Less than 19 minutes inside of the pit window, which means there is about 33 minutes left in the race. A little bit more. As we do see more time penalties being handed out. That is the number 969 being given a time penalty. So close. Almost contact. But as you can see, these drivers are trying to use every inch, every centimeter, every millimeter to their advantage. Oh no! Unfortunately, the number 310 getting a bumpy ride through the Schumacher S's, which unfortunately destabilized the Audi here and gets collected into the sand. However, able to rejoin very safely, and they will continue on their race. This is for P6. A little bit of GT4 traffic is of no concern, however, for the number 276 Lexus, driven by Marcus Schoberg, as he tries to decide when the move is going to be made, because it's not if the move will be made, it's when the move will be made. Along the inside, 276 goes as he sees a potential hold up for the Lexus as they try to go 3 wide through that turn. A little bit of contact made between all 3 cars. The GT4 sandwiched in the middle of the battling GT3s. However, it looks like the Marcus Schoberg able to make it out ahead and moving up into P6 as Simon Kret, had to unfortunately go along the outside of that turn. That is turn 7 to be exact, which is terrible on the grip. And since there's the GT4 in the middle, it's going to take a little bit longer for that GT4 to clear, and it's just going to create more space for the car that you're battling. So this battle is over for now. However, all the cars are starting to join us in the pit lane, as we have the number 88 in the pit lane. We have the number 98, the number 91, the number 100 in the pit lane. It's a pit lane party. It does not seem as any of the GT4s have pitted, so the GT3s, so all of these GT3s are starting to get their undercuts done. All of the drivers with a green square next to their name. So drivers like the number 27 Emery, the number 800 Porsche, the number 69 Ford Mustang, all of those cars have completed their mandatory pit stop. All of the drivers with an orange square with a white number 1, it means that they need to complete 1 mandatory pit stop. Do have 4 drivers in the pits right now, as your race leader, still the number 297 Ferrari for Baller Squad Racing, still in the lead, has elected to not take their pit stop yet. So it looks like they're going to be going they're going to be going to the end, trying to get that overcut, as it seems to be most of the cars underneath have already gone in. So we're going to be keeping an eye on the number 297 to see when they go in the pit lane to serve that mandatory pit stop. Coming up to the pit entry line, are they going to be going in? It does not look like they are. They're going to be staying out another lap, trying to increase that gap that they have between themselves and P2. As the number 297 goes under the BMW M Power banner, they are now still in the lead. Marcus Schoberg moving up into P2. So number 276 Lexus, having to serve a drive-through penalty, moving up into P2. Not bad. Not bad if I do say so myself, Marcus. That's really good as we see the number 276 make it in between the white lines and gonna kind of come join us here in the pit lane party. As well as the number 86 deciding to follow suit. Our standings tree has not fully updated yet. However, Effie, your race leader, is now in the pit lane. They are joining us in the pit lane to get their mandatory pit stop complete. We are on board with the number 98 Audi, who is P2 right now. As we do see the number 297 have a pretty good lead on them. So we're going to keep an eye on the number 98. See where they are on the track as the number 297 starts leaving the pit lane, completing their mandatory pit stop. It's going to be the number 98, still in P2. Moving up into P3, it's the number 88. This is Hamza Pecador. It shows... Oh, yes. So it has updated. Lucas Kupka now in P4, the number 969 McLaren. And Victoras Pujokaitas, who is on our screen right now in the Lamborghini. This is number 100 Lamborghini. Rounding off your top 5. For the GT4s, they have started joining the pit lane party as well. It looks like most have completed their mandatory pit stops, except for the top 4. Let's look at the standings for the GT4s really quick. That's not the button. That's not the button. That's the button. There it is. So looking really quickly at your GT4 leader, Leila Martinez, the number 924 AMR GT4. AMR, right? Aston Martin? Yes, AMR. In P2, it is Richard Mazan, who is now in the pit lane, getting some fuel and potentially fresh Pirelli rubber on that Aston Martin. Jersey Duff also joining in the pit lane party. That is a very shiny Camaro. We do see the KTM of Alex Perry as well in the pit lane. So it does look like the rest of the GT4s have joined the pit lane party. It's only the race leader, the GT4 leader, Leila Martinez, that has still not elected to take a pit stop. With 10 minutes left in the pit window, however, they have every single one of those seconds that they can use within those 10 minutes. Does that make sense? You have all the whole 10 minutes, so you don't. There is no cutoff as long as your front tires cross the pit lane line and you have 1 second left. It still counts and it still works as a completing of the mandatory pit stop. Well, you need to also get fuel, as fuel is required here. Tires are not. As we do have an interesting pass from a GT3 along the outside. Leila Martinez as well trying to stay out. So now in P2 for the GT4 is the number 28 AMG GT4. This is Raffaelli. P3 goes to Matty Garcia so far. The number 455 Chevy Camaro. Simon Kurtashov and the number 147 McLaren for Drift Rebels Racing in P4 for the GT4s. And to round off your top 5 for the GT4s, the number 159 Porsche, driven by Yori Howling. It is a Ford on Porsche battle here on our screen. That's number 69 fitted UK SimSport Ford Mustang. Johnny Marsh behind the wheel of that one. And Alnis Karis in the Street Obsessions number 800 Porsche that we are on board with. Speaking of on board, get a nice little on-board action as we go through the Schumacher S's, where in my opinion the Porsche does shine as it gets a really good exit there. However, the Ford Mustang just able to use all the power that it has with that V8 as a squirrely exit there for the Ford Mustang, going off the track and having to give up the position to the number 800. Moving up into P9 is Alnis Karis. Couple interesting something happening. Moving up. Two Janettas fighting on our screen. There's the back row GT Racing Janetta driven by Bonus Charles there, the 26. And we have the double yellows Janetta right there in front. Oh, that's not the right camera. That's not the right camera. What is going on? There it is. The double yellow Motorsports Janetta. A nice slipstream by Bonus, trying to get along the inside, makes a movement with the juke along the outside, front tires to back tires though. However, the double yellow Motorsports Janetta able to stay out in front. A very good run there by Bonus, however, not able to complete it as the number 873 stays ahead. Womp womp. Your GT4 leader is now entering the pit lane. The number 924 Craft Dinner Aston Martin. I still think this is a great Aston Martin livery. Speaking of, well, we have big damage there for the number 413. So they're going to have to return to the pit lane and get that fixed. Somebody is asking, I do see in the chat, people cheering on Rafa. So let's look at Rafa as he is on the backstretch, catching up to the leader. We're going to keep a close eye on this to see where the number 28 is as we see the number 924 finishing up their pit stop and start leaving the pit lane. Who's going to be out ahead coming out into turn one? Where is Hamza? Hamza is in the pit lane as well. The number 88 Ferrari is getting some fuel, mandatory fuel, as well as potential rubber. Under the BMW M Power sign, the number 28 Mercedes-AMG GT4 goes. And with that, they are also now in the lead of the GT4s, as we do have Matty Garcia able to make it past Leila Martinez at the pit exit. So Leila Martinez now in P3, Matty Garcia in the number 455 Chevy Camaro. P2, Raffaelli in P1 now. It looks like Hamza is in the pit. Is this due to an incident for the number 88? Let's see if I have anything on my screen for the number 88. This is the only incident I have for the number 88. That is not the number 88. Right? Yeah, that's not the number 88. Yeah, I have no idea what happened there with the replay. I apologize. I need to figure out what's happening there. But less than 2 minutes, 44 seconds left in the official pit window. It looks like everyone has completed their pit stop. So as of right now, it does look like the number 297 Ferrari is in the lead. Effie Yantidi behind the wheel of this Baller Squad Racing Ferrari. In P2, it is Lucas Sider. Lucas in the number 98 Audi. Not too far off from P1, less than a second and a half. So within striking distance if any GT4s try to get a little too froggy, if you know what I mean. Lucas Kupka in the number 969 McLaren in P3. P4 is the number 100 Lamborghini Victoras Pujokaitas behind the wheel. P5, Marcus Schoberg in number 276 Lexus, having to defend against fellow Lexus driver Maris Rizanovs for Latvian Flow. Oh, okay. In the chat, they're letting me know they lost contact. Okay. Oh, that's terrible. Lost contact with the server. Oh my goodness. Anytime when it's like not the driver's fault and it's out of their hands, like it's just a terrible feeling. So potential. Oh, what happened to the 276? So Marcus Schoberg along the inside now of the number 728 Bentley. Along the outside, he tries to go. Not as much grip out there, but trying to squeeze the 2728, excuse me, along the inside of the excuse me. Apologize. Along the inside of the turn there at the apex. Number 276 able to make it past, though, along the Schumacher S's. What happened there to the 276? They were in the middle of a battle, I think. Let's see if we can get some visual eyes on what happened here. Oh, so that's what happened. Okay, having to recover. Oh, nice recovery. Safe rejoin. Looked to be a safe rejoin. So the number 276 looked to make a move along the inside, but apparently the GT4 may or may not have chopped his nose off. Now, was he entitled to the space along the inside of the GT4 for that turn? Who knows? We'll let the stewards decide that. They have better camera angles compared to what we have here on the stream at any given time. And I'm pretty sure the stewards will be looking at that anyway. Past the Mercedes Arena, the 73 Mercedes AMG driven by Andreas on the back bumper of Richard Mazan. Some faster GT3 traffic coming up as well. Gonna stop and go for number 413. It is now cleared, so they're able to return onto the track. A slowdown for P1 as the battle for the lead of the race intensifies. Number 98 less, or a second or less behind number 297. A drag race into turn one. The fitted UK Simsport Ford Mustang taking the racing line along the inside. Emery may have shown his hand a little too early, having to brake a little bit earlier as well to make sure that he gets a better position at the apex. However, the Ford Mustang was already past the apex and almost into turn two at that point. Yes, please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We are Odyssey Racing League. We host races for GT Americas, GT Europe. We do also do APAC region as well. Hit that subscribe button. You can also hit that notification bell so that you know that when we go live the next time, so you can catch another fun race, as we do see the number 92 Aston Martin getting a squirrely braking zone, hitting the ABS and unfortunately going off the track there. So that moves the number 73 up a spot into P20. With 9 minutes and 23 seconds left to go in the final round of Odyssey Racing League's GT Europe, the season 19 to be exact. Your race leader, Effie Yantidi, in the number 297 Baller Squad Racing Ferrari. In P2, not too far off, Lucas Sider in the number 98 Audi. This is the R8 LMS, I believe. The 2, so it's like Evo 2 or Evo II. I don't know how Audi likes to do it. Lucas Kupka, the number 969 McLaren P3. P4 goes to Viktoras Pujokaitis. Bar anything crazy happening, race fans as well. Anything can happen within these last 8 minutes and 23 seconds. But the number 100 Lamborghini in P4 and P5 to round off your top 5 is the number 91 Lexus driven by Maris Rizanovs. For your GT4s, number 28 Mercedes-AMG GT4 is in the lead. This is Raffaelli behind the wheel of DC Racing Team AMG GT4. Manny Garcia in P2 is the number 455 Chevy Camaro. P3 is Leila Martinez, not too far away from Maddie, so Leila is trying to get within striking distance and potentially take that second step of the podium away from the Chevy. However, this is number 924 Aston Martin GT4. In P4 for the GT4s, this is Simon Kurdashov, the number 147 McLaren, as we do have some Lexus battling on our screen here. This is Marcus Schobrick and Maris Rizanov. Marcus able to make it past the GT4 traffic and past Maris, moving up into P5. Marcus is for the for Baller Squad Racing. What an interesting move there, and a quick one. A great exit it looked like by the number 276. The number 69 Ford Mustang staring down the back bumper of the number 27 Ferrari, going through that chicane there. However, getting a little bit of a squirrelier, bumpier ride there. The Ford had to take an extra quick millisecond to regain its composure, but that was just enough time for the number 27 to get past, as in my opinion the Ferrari does have way better grip there through that chicane section. Here at Odyssey Racing League, the battle does not stop until the timer hits 0. Leila Martinez in the number 924 Aston Martin GT4 on the back bumper of the Chevy Camaro there on our screen. Maddie Garcia having to take defensive measures, but as well as making sure that they're taking the best exit line to capitalize on all of that power that that Chevy Camaro has with that front engine. I believe it's a V8 as well, if I'm not mistaken. GT3 traffic coming up. However, I don't think that's going to be deterring Leila Martinez from trying any moves later on there into turn 1. Along the inside, Maddie Garcia goes. Leila having to take the outside line. Coming into the Mercedes arena now is a move being made. Potentially a move was being made. However, Leila Martinez having to recover the car. Now going along the outside with less grip there. Leila Martinez recovering quite nicely. But now have to catch up to Manny Garcia, who got a better exit. And and definitely using all the power available to them behind the wheel. Still with your purple crown is the number 297 Ferrari. It's also your race leader, Efi Yantidi. 3 minutes and 19 seconds left to go in the final round of Odyssey Racing League Season 19 of GT Europe. In case you were not aware, racing fans, there was a battle for the championship lead between the number 297 and the number 27. However, it does look like if the race were to end right now, it does look like the number 297 will complete the race with the win. With the race win and the championship win. A great move along the inside. Leila Martinez goes, pushes the Chevy a little bit farther out, but it's a relatively clean move as Leila Martinez moves now up into P2 for the GT4s. However, Manny Garcia on the back bumper coming into the braking zone. A defensive move along the inside made by Leila Martinez to take away the better racing line to the Camaro. However, the Camaro trying to make a switchback happen. Potential bumper tapping, but a passing happening nonetheless as the number 924 is able to get past and move up into P2. A slowdown flag for the number 98, interestingly enough, but nothing relatively crazy on our screen there, as I didn't see them go off. I don't see them. Yeah, nothing on my screen shows that they have like an incident or anything. However, keeping an eye on the number 297 as they go past the finish line, and we do see the white flag, so this is the final lap for Season 19 of Odyssey Racing League's GT Europe. Our championship winners will also be crowned tonight in the GT Pro and the GT4 categories. We'll be keeping an eye on the respective race leaders. It is the number 28 for the GT4s and the number 297 for the GT3s. But this could potentially be the final lap as we keep an eye on the number 28 Mercedes AMG GT4. 13th overall. However, P1. They still have one more lap. So we'll continue that. We'll continue that rant afterwards when they get close to the finish line. But still battles happening all across the track as the timer hits the big fat zeros there at the top of our screen. However, Marcus Schoberg and Victoras Pujokaitas still battling it out until the very bitter end. Marcus Schoberg tries to go along the outside. Is he going to make the switcheroo happen? Victoras tries to take a defensive line, goes too deep. Marcus Schoberg able to get past, moving up into P4, which moves Victoras into P5. However, P1 right now is the number 297 Ferrari, going under the BMW power sign for the final time, crossing the finish line and taking the checkered flag. Your winner for the final round of Odyssey Racing League GT Europe, and your championship winner for the GT3 Pro category, Efi Yantidi in the number 297 Ferrari for Baller Squad Racing. Lucas Sider crossed the finish line P2. This is the number 98 Audi. Lucas Kupka crossing the line as well. This is the number 969 McLaren. P3 for Lucas Kupka. A couple of GT4s have finished, but we are keeping an eye on the leader. Through the backstretch they go. Turns 12 into the final chicanes. Turns 13 and 14. Raffaelli feeling pretty good about themselves now. The DC Racing Team AMG GT4 through the final turn. Under the BMW M Power sign, the number 28 Mercedes AMG GT4 is your winner for the final round of Odyssey Racing League GT Europe. And also your championship winner for the GT4 category, Raffaelli. Leila Martinez crossing the finish line in P2 for the GT4s. Able to get past Maddie Martinez. Who is your third place for the GT4s. This is the number 455. Giving off a nice little show there. Skirt, skirt. Maddie, go. Maddie, go. There it is. Congratulations to all the drivers tonight. And thank you so much for joining us for GT Europe Season 19. As we have all the drivers there showing off their donut skills. That is the end of Odyssey Racing League's GT Europe Season 19. Your GT3 winner, Effie Yantidi, who is also your GT3 Pro category winner as well. Congratulations to them. We do also have Raffaelli. I believe it's pronounced Ricciato. I keep mispronouncing it, so I do apologize if I mispronounce it. Please let me know in the chat how badly that was mispronounced. But congratulations to them, as they are the GT4 winner of round 6 and also your championship GT4 winner. Congratulations. That's it from us here at Odyssey Racing League and in the commenters booth. My name is Koju. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope to see you here same time 3 weeks from now for Season 20. I hope to see you there. Good night.
Because of you, dripping lights paint the skies. Only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me so alive, make it last forever. Stop in time, yeah, I'm surrendering. Hold tight, chemicals collide.